everybody. Today is Thursday, April 16th. We're here for a work session, and we're glad that you've joined us. We have a few announcements. We're celebrating America 250, and on May 1st at the Suffolk Theater at 8 p.m., we have the Great American Bash. You want to make sure you get your tickets. You can go directly to the Suffolk Theater website. It's a great opportunity to support your local businesses wherever you are. If you're in Jamesport, if you're in Wading River, go to dinner there and then come downtown. If you're here in Riverhead proper, go downtown Riverhead or Polish Town. And this Saturday, the Suffolk Historical Society is doing their concert, a saxophone quartet to celebrate America 250. And don't forget, we are still flushing our hydrants until the 25th of this month. Council people, do we have any announcements today?
So I just want to, in advance, thank Riverhead Rotary. They were going to be joining the Veterans Advisory Committee this Saturday at 10 o'clock, and we will be hanging all of the veterans banners. So if anybody else is interested in volunteering to participate in that, there's a lot of banners. The program has drastically grown over the years, which is wonderful. So we decorate all of downtown, not just Main Street, but all the side streets and around Jamesport, and we will have some in Wading River as well this year. So help is always welcomed, and the Veterans Advisory Committee really appreciates Rotary has stepped up to take the banners, assist us in taking them down, and now placing them back up. So
Good
I'll be
work.
there.
Awesome.
I'll be
Thank
there.
you. Yeah, awesome. Yes, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, mine will be short. Okay,
Mine's gonna be short.
okay, we'll time it. No. Little League opening day is Saturday the 25th at 10:30. Come see the future stars of the Mets and the Yankees on opening day at Stotchke Park.
Thanks, Bob. It's awesome.
Wonderful. Also, next Saturday, the 25th, is the spring cleanup here throughout the town of Riverhead. You can come to Town Hall between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 and pick up supplies, which include pickers, trash bags, gloves, safety vests. We do give out T-shirts. It's always a great, well-attended event, and it's up to all of us in the community to help keep our town beautiful. So if you can come out, we would greatly appreciate it.
sounds like Saturday's Volunteers Day here in the town of Riverhead.
Absolutely, right? It's good stuff. Anybody else? Okay, all right, well, that is awesome. We hope you check out all that great stuff. And I believe our rec department is getting their new brochure out today. It's just solid upstairs for the first time. And we're going to begin our open session. And we'll start today with matters surrounding change to Chapter 213-11, electric scooters and bicycles, with Councilman Rothwell, Councilman KERN, Councilor HURLEY, and ROSINI. Officer. If you guys,
Chief Frost.
Oh, and Chief Frost. I'm sorry. I saw him on there. Yep. Come on down to the table and join us. We would love to have you here. Discuss this great.
Good morning, sir.
How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Sergeant.
Hope you gave Devin the speeding ticket this morning.
So how many electric scooters are we getting for the police department?
No, I don't want it.
Dangerous.
So I'll let Danielle start off.
So, a couple months ago, we considered revision of this particular code, 213-11. It's the current code right now covers electric scooters, and we discussed back then talking about bicycles with electric assist as they were rising in popularity. The popularity has only grown. At that time, the resolution was tabled to give it some further thought. I've continued to research this topic. I've spoken with the Alternative Transportation Committee, and Suffolk County has also recognized the danger of these bicycles, and so Suffolk County has codified their code regarding electric scooters and electric assist bicycles, and in light of that, we've taken to our code and revamped it again with everything that I've learned and that I've read in Suffolk County and that I've discussed with PD. The major concern of these bicycles and the need for them to be regulated further. I have a picture, if Justin can zoom in. Just a regular neighborhood picture, that a scene that we've all probably seen in our own neighborhoods or on the main street or down by the river walk. These in particular are electric dirt bikes, correct?
Yes. They do not have pedals, so they're considered electric dirt bikes.
So these are completely banned.
And you would look at the picture, and I would say, guess that they're under 16, which is the police department's main function of this, is public safety. A lot of them, sometimes they don't have helmets on, sometimes they do. They most likely do not know the rules of the road on, stop signs and, making left turns, right turns, who has the right of way. So, these devices are pretty dangerous for kids that don't have the information. I think the parents are unfortunately just going out buying them because everyone has them now. Obviously everyone knows I live in the River area. I see these through King Cullen all the time doing wheelies. I actually sent video to Miss HURLEY, a young kid riding one of these, doing a wheelie down the front, or they're doing, in excess of like 40 miles an hour. Someone's going to get injured. There's going to be a car accident, or a pedestrian that's not going to hear them because they make no noise, might get struck because they're not actually, they don't know what's coming. So
can I give a little background just before we go too far into it? So we proposed legislation, and Councilman Kern worked very hard on it. I think at least I pulled back initially because it's like a twofold thing. So yes, we want to protect the youth who may be primary, but there's also an abundance of our seniors that are using these bikes as well, because when they go up to the Upgalp Trail, it's a 9-mile trail, and some of our seniors said, like, hey, look, I'm great for doing 6 miles, but then I need that assist to come back a little bit, and I don't want to be banned or pushed off the roadways. They still want to be able to use it. So the concern is to make sure that the seniors still could utilize the bikes, and I'll let you in a little bit classify, we know there's different levels of the bikes and so forth, but that was
that was
the
addressed,
one.
correct?
Yes, we did.
That concern was addressed,
Yeah, and they can.
and they can,
So
correct.
but I just want to point that out right away, because people are going to say, the seniors spoke at least to me, very profoundly about having concerns. A lot of people, seniors that live on Fresh Pond, like to go up there and get right onto the Grumman Trail, and they utilize it, and it's a great method of exercise. We want to keep that option open to them. But also to clarify, the county adopted a set of regulations, and so in terms of us enforcing them, what already is law, so we're not necessarily even creating new laws, but it's about being able to write summonses, and you can correct me, on a town of Riverhead summons, as opposed to, trying to enforce a county law.
It'll make it a lot easier for the police department to enforce. It's difficult for us to enforce county laws. So if they're on the books in Riverhead, it's a lot easier. We can just issue a code violation, a town summons to them, and as well as it goes to a local justice court, and Victoria will be, most likely prosecuting it because she's deals with justice court.
Right, so that's a good point.
And it gives
So-
us also the ability to impound the bikes, and it's not what we're looking to do. It's more of a voluntary compliance. If the public kind of understands what the reasons for behind the law, most of the time they'll be compliant with it. I don't really think the general public knows that people under 16 are not allowed to ride these devices, and they're not allowed to be on roads with a speed limit more than 30 miles an hour. I don't believe the public probably knows, so we're just trying to get that out as well.
Yeah,
To the public.
and most of those things are per the VTL. It's not even something that the town of Riverhead is saying, the electric dirt bikes are banned and you can't be on roads over 30 miles per hour posted. Those are New York State laws that we're just trying to enforce, and I think part of this should come a public awareness factor, maybe presenting some sort of flyer to put up on our website, reiterating the rules, if these rules, are adopted by you guys, just some
Could we
public
also-
outreach.
Could we put it in our next rec flyer that goes out to the public in the fall?
Yeah,
like that?
of course. I also wanted to touch upon why we're requesting that it be codified in the Riverhead Town Code is also so that if fines are assessed, we would be able to keep them within the town instead of being assessed and sent to Suffolk County.
And one of the things you brought up is that if an officer finds something or whatever, then you gotta call the county and wait, and it's like,
The process for issuing a county violation is laborious.
That's what,
That's,
where I'm
we don't-
going, yeah.
It's just easier if it's on a town summons that we can issue that's in our code.
Yeah.
It's just a lot, it makes it like
No, it makes
lifestyle,
perfect sense.
definitely a lot faster.
So the other thing, I mean, we're talking about putting it on the website. What I would like to do, if you could just do a bullet point thing that we can run on Channel 22 as well to educate the parents and educate people. Because when I was walking, I've been in different.
We actually have a chart, there's a chart that's generated,
Oh.
so we can actually put that up as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
once it's
Once it's done.
voted and codified, we can
I
definitely
think I sent that to you.
do all
a
those
while ago.
things.
Maybe post it also at the River Trail, the trail that goes all the way to Port Jeff. Post signs
Rails and
about,
trails, yeah.
the rails and how, what kind of bike you can ride on here and what speed you can go, because they're zipping on that all the time.
It's a state trail, so that, I don't know what the,
I don't believe electric bikes are allowed on
They're
there.
not.
they're not.
They're there, they're there.
That's what a dirt bike operation is all about. I mean, look, we have kids 10 years old and 12 years old racing at the racetrack, which I give them a lot of credit for, but,
You also see them, off the farms on, 25 in Calverton, and, they're riding on next to the road. Some of them, they go into the roadway and they get struck by a vehicle. It's, that's what we're trying to, it's try to get rid of. We've already had 2 accidents on 58 with electric scooters getting hit. One individual was seriously injured. The other one actually walked away from it. But again, they're not supposed to ride on 58 because 58 is the 35-mile-an-hour zone. So that would be easy. Boom, we just issue them a summons, and then it's just a lot easier for us.
But that's one of the reasons it's good to bring this conversation back up again. Seniors had a lot of concerns, but I can say that both my sons work for Stony Brook University Hospital, and from the region standpoint, it is one of the largest influx of trauma injuries that are now coming in, and it's growing, and certainly as the weather warms up, we're going to see more and more. And they are seeing it on a regular basis. We have trauma cases that are arriving at Stony Brook from electric, e-scooters. So
Town-
knowing that that's there, we have to do what we need to do to protect
The
the
towns to the west and in the east, obviously even on the South Fork, have a stepped up enforcement of e-bikes and e-scooters as well. So I know Babylon just had, I guess they're in the parks riding on pedestrian walkways. Like they have to say we'd be like Stotsky Park. They're riding these, and that's a danger to there's young kids there that can get away from their parents, or a distance away. But
last, if you can, explain the different levels of the bike, because it's not about, we're not just banning any assist, so that's what our seniors are like. So, like, there are different levels under 10 miles an hour, so if you can just take a moment that this is not like a ban, this is about
Yes.
controlling
Can
it.
I just add to this that it also, to your point, when we talked about this, it's also for people that are handicapped. If somebody only has one leg, you can use one of these electric bikes. I'm saying people, so we have to be clear on
Right,
that.
so-
This is,
Yes, anything that's ADA compliant is protected by federal statute. So I can walk through the code a bit and explain. So we added bicycle with electric assist. Class 1 bicycle is your traditional bicycle, pedal only, although these ones have a little assist that it provides as you're pedaling, but you need to be moving the pedals to get that assist, and it caps out at 20 miles per hour. And then class 2, it has pedals as well, and you can pedal and get the assist, but it also has a throttle on the handlebar, so if you need a break from pedaling, you can throttle, and that goes 20 miles, it reaches 20 miles per hour as well.
Is that you have to build up the energy, or is it ongoing, like,
So the
without
class
pedaling,
1,
can you continuously use it?
the class 1 only provides electric assist when you're actively pedaling. Class 2 provides electric assist regardless if you're pedaling or not, so it has a throttle.
they're chargeable, I believe.
So you're using the battery, so you can basically go for an entire ride without pedaling. Just
On
trying to get an idea.
class 2 bicycles, yes.
There's 4 classes, right?
There's 3 classes. Class 3 is only allowed in city populations of 1 million or more, which is New York City, and that similar to Class 2, but has a top speed of 25 miles an hour.
Those aren't addressed in our code, because we're not a city of.
More than a million.
Although,
Is there anything in here about, the fact that you have to wear helmets when there is? Okay, I wasn't able to find it.
Yes, so,
I can't tell you how many I've seen that just, they have no helmets on, and they're like 10 years old.
It's going to be 213-13D.
so they have to wear helmets that conform to the requirements of the
There
VTO.
it is. Okay, perfect.
So currently, the VTL only allows, or only requires individuals 16 and 17 to wear helmets. We're asking for age regardless.
And
that's
the
for regular bicycles as well, like what's our helmet law for just like regular bicycles?
regular standard bicycles, you have to wear a helmet.
Youth or even adults?
I don't think there's an age.
14. It's 14.
It's okay. So, on the first page, we've also expanded the definition of an electric scooter to comply with how it's described by vehicle and traffic law. So it has to have handlebars, it has to have a floorboard, a seat, or have a seat, or it can be stood or sat upon. And powered by electric motor, speed no more than 20 miles per hour. So we see a lot of that. I saw some just yesterday in town zipping around on these electric scooters.
On our bulletins that we put out, can we make sure that we let them know that they should be going with traffic? Because I see a lot of them going.
That's, again,
Right.
they don't know the rules of the road a lot of the times, you know?
It's just a very important thing.
Yep.
What about mopeds? I mean, do they have to be registered
So,
or?
yes, mopeds are considered limited use motorcycles, which have different requirements. This code won't address that because it's addressed separately by the VTL, because they're not considered e-bikes or e-scooters. Mopeds, you either have to have a Class A license. I mean, if it's Class A moped, you have to have a motorcycle endorsement, or if it's Class B or C, you have to have a driver's license, regular D license. Depending on the class, they have to be inspected and registered as well.
What's the top
Thank you.
speed with a moped?
There's A, B, and C. The top speed goes,
I believe
Sorry to
is
question you guys like this.
yeah,
I just was curious in
between
terms of,
30 and 40 miles an hour.
okay, because I'm like, what's the difference between 25 and 30 miles an hour? I would like to see them all have licenses. If you're going to ride a bike 25 miles an hour.
that's what the state, you know, put down. That's been long in the laws for a long time, you know, VTL.
It's currently, if you have one of these motorized bikes going 25 miles an hour, you need a license.
So,
That's what I'd like to see.
You have to have a D.
so if it exceeds greater than 25 miles an hour, it's not a Class 1, 2, or 3 e-bike. It's considered a limited use motorcycle, which you need a license.
Okay. So are we saying, if you have an e-bike that can go 25 miles an hour, do you need a license for that?
It falls outside of the
So it does.
VTL standards of
So it
what's
does.
considered an e-bicycle.
Okay.
They carved out a different
For all the
different
5
sections of
miles
the
an hour
VTL.
difference.
They carved out a different section for e-bikes over limited use mopeds and, you know, motorcycles.
And to everybody's point, to Ken's point, and the fact that these are proliferating, I'm sure more laws are gonna come down the pike, either from the state, the county, et cetera, because
Takes usually, there's incidents and it takes time to change, but, you know, this is definitely, Danielle actually did a very good job on putting it all together, so, I mean, I think it'll be very good for the town, and I think it'll help ensure safety for you and me, and, you know, pedestrians, motorists, and as well as the people operating them, you know, not just the youth, you know, the adults as well.
How are you gonna get to work now?
I don't know. My license.
Are you gonna have helmet
my
head for
license is
having a helmet?
suspended. You know, I don't know. And now Danielle, you don't have to work weekends like you've been for the last 4 months doing this, so this is great.
This actually started when I was liaison to alternative transportation. I remember discussing this, so you've been working on this for a while, all of you, so thank you.
Why don't you talk, because you're mentioning alternative transportation, talk about the limitations with the actual bike trail. So again, that's our
So the only,
walkers, everybody's there.
yes,
What changes with the EPCAL trail?
there aren't, right now, the code stays as it is, which is no electric scooters shall be operated on the path. It doesn't put any requirement on electric bicycles being on the path.
So this legislation does not affect the EPCAL trail.
No, because they,
Clarify, because that was the big heart of senior.
I'm the liaison now to them, and I can tell you that they are, if somebody is handicapped, if somebody is a senior, right, and they're gonna use an electric, scooter or even a three-wheel thing, they can be on the trail. They
Did
don't,
they
they're
get the
not,
sign
they're
done up
not
there
looking-
that states the regulation of what is allowed?
get up there.
There was, I mean, I don't know if it's still up there, but
Yeah,
there was.
we're going through the entire trail. Instead of piecemealing it month by month, we're gonna take a vehicle and go through the entire trail and get everything that they want done, because it's like, we need this curve done, and next month it's that.
I think signage.
And you're
is
welcome
when
to
you're
get that as a
entering.
liaison too.
We have a ranger that can go, like a quad with a cab that can go down there, so if you need
That
help,
would be,
I can have someone in the.
There's kiosks that are around, I think a lot of the Boy Scouts
that
have
would
done
be
it, and some of them
looking
can
for
have those.
something. I'll call
Just
you.
for the record, when I was liaison, I pedaled bicycle for my meetings on the trail. Just wasn't
Well, I don't
looking
have
for an
that kind of,
ATV to
I
go
don't have
around
that kind of time right now. I got nothing else to do, I do it, but.
Did you wear the fancy outfit?
I did.
Okay.
Bruce Keegan made sure we were all properly dressed, protected. Yep.
The dome helmet.
The only thing I will say about being on the trail on a class 1 or 2 bicycle is obviously that they'll need to, go the correct speed. So part of this is bicycles with an electric assist aren't allowed to go in excess of 20 miles per hour. They're not made to go in excess of 20 miles per hour, and the 20 mile per hour speed limit is set by the VTL as well.
And they also limited the watt, the 750 watt, right? Is it the bikes, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So if we have someone there with a bike that's putting out 1,500 watts, obviously it's gonna go faster. It'd probably go 40 miles an hour, which that would be an issue.
Right, not allowed.
And the VTL requires that each electric bike has a label affixed on the bike that tells you the speed and the voltage of the bike and what type of bike it is, class 1 or class 2.
So you don't have to get the speed gun out when the thing goes by, right?
Say, we're gonna have Sergeant Rosini with a radar set up on the EPCAL
You know,
trail.
to be clear on the bike trail, you can't go over, in Veterans Park, you can't go over 15 miles an hour. I mean, there's some curves there that,
Right, even standard bicycles that aren't electric can get up in speed when they're going on there, so.
I ride at least like 25 miles an hour.
I know. I heard you race Devin, and she couldn't believe how fast you
Yeah,
were.
we were on the boulevard.
Comedy's free this morning. No charge. Well, thank you. This is great work by everybody involved, all the liaisons in the past. Good job. This is awesome, keeping people safe. Thank you for presenting this.
I just wanted to bring up one point, that just to clarify, and Chief, if you can let me know, that if you are riding one of these motorized bicycles on a public road and you are high or you have alcohol in you, you can get a DWI, right?
Yes, it is.
It's a motorized, whatever motorized vehicle.
Traffic law states to be arrested for a DWI, there has to be a crash involved. They removed the e-bikes from the definition of motor vehicle and made its own section. It says its own section of DWI laws that address it, but there must be a crash involved. Our town code has a section, if you operate under intoxicated or impaired condition, it's a violation of the town code, but it's not considered DWI unless there's a crash involved.
Okay. Which isn't really fair, because any motorized vehicle is what the law normally says. You didn't have to have a crash for a DWI with a car or any other moped or anything.
They carve different sections for these.
So they took that out because otherwise it would have applied.
Yeah, this doesn't fall under
But we still
VTL.
have a violation now in the town code, so that's good.
And also, you'd have the ability now under our town code, if the officers find someone driving one of these in an intoxicated condition, they have the ability to seize and impound.
Which we have, and it was a problem in the past on how do we actually take the device and like what do we do with the individual? We've run into this several times already. So this code actually makes it easier for the police officers to take enforcement action.
Right, I guess too, because under the VTL, you have a license, and that's normally one of the restrictions that happens when you have a DWI. They take your license, but since you have no license, there's nothing to take, so we take the bike, okay? Okay.
Well, you also don't want, so we stop somebody, what do we do with him? He's intoxicated, and then we can't let him drive it again, because we already ran into him, so he goes down, we let him go, 5 minutes later, he's involved in an accident where he's, there's a lot of
Right,
liability.
it's liability for the
Comes
town.
back comes back on the police department. But now with the code, we'll be able to address it.
Thank you.
Also, I'll just point out quickly, the PD has the ability to seize and impound if an individual is driving in a reckless fashion, or if they flee from a police officer or traffic control officer who's advising them to stop.
That's to address it. You probably saw it in the news in the past. They would take over a whole street, like 8 or 10 of them, and just like they take over Main Street, and just like they're all over there in the, they're going east, they're in the westbound lane, they're swerving in and out, they're doing wheelies down the road. So that would address that aspect of it.
That's great. Thank you.
And lastly, other violators who are found guilty of lesser crimes, violations of this code, the penalty is 15 days imprisonment and or a fine up to $500. And
Do you have an age limit on at what age? Yeah.
There is something in there we can write to parents, am I correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, good.
So there is, within the code, putting parents on the hook for their children who get.
You'd have to be over 16.
Yeah.
16 or above to actually receive it yourself. And then if they're younger, so say if they're 14, you'd have to prove the parent obviously had knowledge of them having the bike, which is pretty easy to do. So the parent would get the summons for that in that aspect.
Can you put a presumption in the law in that? You're presumed as a parent to
There is,
know
within,
your child has an e-bike?
well,
I'm
we
just
can
curious.
discuss what is drafted. I think will be, they'll be covered. It's really just, if the person's under 18.
I just meant for the younger kids
Yeah.
that are the parents are gonna go, I didn't know you had an e-bike, really? You don't know your child's driving around on an
Expensive bikes.
Yeah. Right, how many hundreds, right?
Right, yes.
And you have to store it and charge it somewhere.
Great work. Again, this is great.
So Sergeant Rosini's here. He's, obviously I sent him to a lot of training for these e-bikes and e-scooters. He's the grant person for Stop DWI, Buckle Up New York, and our aggressive driving grants that we get from the state and the county. So
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sergeant. Thank you.
But Chief, while you're here, just so you know, if your ears were ringing last night, I had a BIDMA meeting,
oh boy.
and the businesses downtown were they are so happy with the department and with you, and we're discussing what a change it's been in about the past 2 years since you have come on as chief. And
Obviously, it wasn't one of my main responsibilities of becoming the chief, and we address it vigorously within our patrol division and our COPE units, not our extra unit, but they're detailed down there obviously to affect quality of life change. And I was out yesterday or the day before. It was a beautiful day. All the tables were filled with people having lunch, which that was good to see. I haven't seen that in a while, down there. So
well, they recognize the change, and they are very appreciative. So thank you to you and your department.
I'll let them know. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Sergeant Rosini. Great job.
It's great.
Thanks for, bringing this all and getting this to this point.
Good job. Thank you guys for
And Danielle,
So our next open session is matters surrounding Scotts Point covenant restrictions with Rothwell and Planner Bergman. Councilman Rothwell, I believe.
Yep. So, Greg, you want to come up? Scott Point just asked to come forth to discuss that. I have not met with them, but I think you did, Supervisor, too, so if you want to add with the conversation, I think in terms of what the request would be as well as guided by Craig.
You know, they just ask us to take a look at the covenants that are on their property. I've been here, from what I understand, quite some time, and here's Greg's copy. We all have been given a copy of it, so.
All right, so, yeah, good morning. For the record, Greg Bergman, Senior Planner, and we have Ken Myers from Island Water Park. So Island Water Park, AKA Scotts Point, submitted a site plan application amendment. The application is seeking approval to construct a zip line. I highlighted it just because it's kind of difficult to see for the board. So they want to install a zip line along a portion of the lake. They want to propose a temporary floating dock to be used by electric bumper boats. They're going to install a fire drafting well on the south side of the portion by the go-kart track that would draft off the lake. And they're also seeking to amend some of the covenants that were put in place as part of prior approvals on this application. One of them was a CNR that was filed back in 2025 in connection with the last site plan amendment application that the board reviewed. That CNR stated that the use of the go-kart track shall be limited to go-karts as stated by the applicant in its submittals, and that the use of the track for any other type of vehicle shall be prohibited. They would like to amend that the use of the go-kart track shall be permitted for go-karts as stated in the applicant's prior submittals, and for special events using drift cars as depicted in the applicant's amended site plan application. And they would also like to amend, rescind in its entirety and replace, there's a current restriction on the use of the lake to non-motorized recreational uses. They would like to use the battery-powered bumper boat, so they'd like to amend that to say the use of the on-site lake shall include the proposed rope tow cable system and sealed, environmentally safe marine-powered battery-powered motorized watercraft, including but not limited to bumper boats, e-foils, canoes, kayaks, rental sailboats, and similar watercraft. So I will say, the site is still under the DEC's jurisdiction because they do have the mine land reclamation permit. I did refer a copy of the application materials and the request to the DEC's Mineral Resources Division to see what they have, to see if any of the proposed improvements are within the life of mine and therefore under their jurisdiction. There is available data on the DEC's website. It indicates that the last time the DEC was out there was in July of 2025. They indicated that some of the banks of the slopes of the lake have been growing in, but there was some other sections that needed some additional irrigation and some time to grow in. I think Ken can speak to the status where they're at with the DEC, just in terms of the reclamation. One thing I will note is that the application, when the board reviewed this last year, one of those, the CNR regarding the use of the track limited to go-karts, that was actually tied to the condition of negative declaration that the board issued. Thought that the go-karts would have limited impact as opposed to vehicles using the track. Now, the proposal to use them for special events does give the board some additional control in the event that there's noise or other, undesired activities. They see that things aren't, happening in accordance. The board could not issue a special event permit for those types of events or races on there. But that needs to be addressed, when we look at this application, we would need to address that and justify the removal or the amendment of that covenant. Beyond that, that's pretty much it. Like I said, just waiting to hear from the DEC to see what their status is and see what's still under their jurisdiction. But we're here to discuss this with the board and see how the board would like to proceed.
Well, I can tell you, and I know I got data on, I know the DEC has approved these marine safe boats on reservoirs throughout the state, anytime I've gone to Scotts Point, I always see these boats and I go, how come they're not in the water? So I think this is great. I think the zip line is great. And I look at this also like the way we're approaching Tanger, right? Tanger, to me, any use of your property that you can do that's going to be entertainment and bring a new experience to people, I'm in favor of. And I hope the DEC, is, the only question I have is about, would drifting be considered a special event?
That's what's requested in the application to amend it. They want to say by special event, so again, anytime they want to have these, exhibitions or these drifting events, would be by a special event permit for the
The
town.
reason why I asked that, because drifting
In
is,
retrospect, we really do consider this to be a track, so if it would be possible, we would like to hold these regularly. But if it had to be by special event, I mean, we would
Well-
understand.
yeah, I understand that, but I'm bringing that up because right now, we have racetrack, not street, and there's drifting. So, and that's not a special event, it's an addition to what they're already doing. So, I wonder why you would say, we'll do it by, voluntarily say we'll do it by special
They
event.
still have to, it's still on their special event application, they're still. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so, and so for duration,
In their drag racing application, it's a secondary use.
to answer my
They,
question,
they
thank you.
detail dates, hours of operation. There's also provisions in those special events for emergency services. They have ambulances on standby. I mean, yeah, they're not exactly the same. I don't think vehicles are going to get anywhere near the speed that they're getting at the drag strip, on this track, just given the nature of it, the curves. So, I don't think you're going to get those high speed.
Yeah, no, you answered my question, and I appreciate it, thank you.
I think the zip line and everything's great. I think the motorized is great, that would help your business. But I think with the track, I think the issue has always been the runoff from the oil and such. So the big difference between racetrack, not street, is there's no lake right next to it. Here, there's water, and that's got the whole issue with whether it's going down into the aquifer and everything, which is the whole reason why you want all electric on the water.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is a big distinction.
But with the track, obviously, we have spill programs in place. We'll be able to handle that. It's not going to be a constant. It is mostly a go-kart track, and that's what we're looking for. A small vehicle, we would like to look at pit bikes as well. We don't want to be limited to go-karts. Pit bikes travel at the same sort of speeds and are the same idea. Those are just small little bikes. But again, like Greg was saying, we have very few straightaways. There's a lot of hairpin turns on there. So as far as safety, I think it's very obvious. And then spill, the way it's laid out now, there are mostly barriers as far as for runoff. And we have spill containment. Nothing's going to be staying on the track. It's not going to be constant use. It would just be events, like we said. So.
I think if you do a special event permit, then at least it gives the opportunity to monitor it. If there's any issues, any noise, anything like that, grant them the ability to do an event, and it gives us the ability to monitor it, address anything accordingly.
Well, that's why we filed that way, so.
Yeah, I think doing this the right way, coming in and looking at this and going through planning and the electric boats, I believe the covenant, we spoke about it, was 2013. So
Yeah, that goes back, like you said, this site's got a 25-plus year history. That covenant was put in place to the best of my research ability. Back in 2013, when a prior site plan was approved, there was a note on the plans that said, non-motorized recreational use of the lake. So I think, that was just sort of carried through. And
That's what my research says, the same
Come a
thing.
long way since then.
yeah, absolutely. Look, you can go on Lake Ronkonkoma, you can use a small electric trolling motor.
Yeah, I have.
There's no you can't operate a power boat on any lake on Long Island. Obviously, in the Sound, the Great South Bay is a different story, but you can't utilize power boats on lakes on Long Island. So, again, a sealed, bumper boat, these things aren't. I've been on them. They're not going.
Yeah, no, those
Tremendous
are
speed.
great ideas.
They're
They're fun.
utilized on the reservoirs upstate to supply New York, all throughout Long Island, Sag Harbor, all the canals, so it's a proven technology.
Yeah, I mean, they're being used in saltwater. I mean, and we're headed that way, anyway.
Right,
So
right,
it's
it'll
not
all
like
be
this is, this may be new to some folks, but if they just look, you can find these things all over the place.
Can you break it out where we just maybe go with just the all electric stuff on the boat for the time being, and maybe later on with regard to the track? Because
Well, so what I would recommend, obviously, we need to hear back from the DEC, because like I said, they still have jurisdiction over the lake and the slopes. I want to see what they say. In terms of the use of the track and amending that covenant, the board needs to really consider, again, emergency response in the event that there is some type of accident, potential runoff into the lake. I mean, there are, forgive the term, but mafia blocks around, the south portion of the track, so there is some sort of containment that would prevent, limited spills. However, if a vehicle catches fire and they need to, draft off the lake, that does, have the potential to, run off some of that material potentially into the lake.
And do we need, does the DEC need to be involved for the zip line as well?
Well, so, I mean, that's really, if this is within the life of mine, is the area that's under the DEC's jurisdiction, they would need to amend that approval. Or in the alternative, I mean, again, I want to see what the DEC says, what their next inspection schedules are. Once the DEC, and I've had conversations with the DEC on other sites that are under active mineland reclamation, essentially the DEC's position is that once they've issued final reclamation, they're sort of out of the loop.
Right.
So if in the event that this, the DEC comes in and they find that the slopes have been adequately planted and adequately, they've grown in, to a satisfaction, if they issue a reclamation, they could install this zip line and construct it with no, involvement from the DEC. But because they are still under a current MLR permit, we have to refer it to them, and they still have jurisdiction.
That's outside of life of mine, though. That's outside of the 19 acres. Their life of mine is 19.5, which is top of slope. That's designed to be outside of life of mine.
Okay.
So that's it. And if it is, it's a mistake on the engineer's part. But our life of mine is 19.5, whereas because the entire water base is about 12.5, varying on depth. How water is. Drought and water. How much rain we got.
Okay.
But that's outside of life of mine.
We can.
Yeah, I mean, if
For the record, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're not putting that in this year. This was towards. We were told to put to get. Where planning is ahead of things as far as where we were told. So we want to let you guys know where we're heading.
Okay.
We will not be putting that in this year, even if you improved it today and handed us a building permit. We would not build that this year.
Okay. You're gonna do zip lining, is that true?
But we do want to. But I do stress that it would really help us. We do want to. The season is we're almost here. It moves so quickly. Memorial Day for us to get the batteries on the boat, and we would love to start. It takes weeks to schedule events. As far as we'd love to do something with the go-karts. Not go-karts, with the drifting or pit bikes. Do you think that we could do pit bikes as it's written now?
I think the board would have to amend, right now the CNR is placed on the property that restricts it to go-karts, so ultimately whatever the board, desires to do, we'd have to come up with a new covenant that would,
Do we need anything from the DEC before we proceed?
I understand this may well be outside of the life of mine. I would just, because the DEC initially, when we went through this last year, they initially took issue with the aqua park in the lake. So, like I said, I've referred it to them. I would just like confirmation from the DEC that we're not overstepping our bounds or doing anything within their jurisdiction. If they come back and they say that the proposed zip line is outside of the life of mine and they have no issue with the battery powered bumper boats,
or if the mine is closed, right? If they close it, so
Reclamation becomes you guys lead with that. But the DEC, again, they can handle themselves. They beat us up last year but we did make a deal with them, and we're set as far as the aqua park goes. So I hope we can get in touch with them quickly, because we really could use this.
I'm telling you, I completely support it. I mean, I love the place. I love what you guys are doing, and I want to get on there with the bumper boats. Selfishly, I think they're cool.
Can I give you guys this? I produced a couple of things that shows some of the areas where the batteries are being used today. Information about the drifting, and as Greg thankfully said, the track is really designed to keep very low speeds, accidents and things like that. And the drafting well really was put in more. When we put something out, it will be fire extinguishers. That's really what it's there for. The drafting well was because we were doing a structure, because we did add, which you didn't mention, we were putting the storage.
Yes, I mean, so this just says that, I think maybe the engineer just needs to clarify, this just says existing non-permanent demountable tubing frame?
Yeah. We just want to make it where that's okay on it.
But is that going to be permanent, or
Yes.
is that, all right. So, I mean, then the engineer needs to clarify that, because it says
Okay.
non-permanent.
Well, it's currently non-permanent. We have a temporary. We want to make it where we don't have to take it down every 6 months. Currently, we get a 6 month permit, and then you got to take it down. And we we had a storage facility off-site. We'd rather not. That's a massive cost, and it's a tremendous cost.
So you want to make that permanent?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that just needs to be clarified.
Yeah, that's our goal, is to just keep them on site.
Yeah, and like every other business in town, you're here, we want you to be successful, you have a CO, we want to make sure we're going through every step, and, how we can assist that, but I think that we need to clarify some things with the DEC and get, get that moving, whatever we can. So, thank you for presenting, anybody has questions? Any questions? All right.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you, Denise.
The lake must have looked mighty tempting yesterday.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I couldn't believe it. All right. Thank you.
Clear as a bell. All right, our next matter is matters surrounding change. It's chapter 293-40 regarding waterfowl blinds with Counselor PILO.
Really? No. PILO. Sorry.
Morning.
Good morning. Hello everyone. I have copies of the code. Does anyone need the photos or copies of the code? I'm just gonna. Alright, so I'll leave these out and then I have copies for everyone else. These were submitted by Greater Jamesport Civic Association. I can't take credit for this, but I think it'll be helpful. At the end of everyone's packet.
Let's spin them around.
Oh, sorry, thank you.
Hey, people.
Okay, these are
That was
just,
a good meeting on this yesterday.
Yes.
A lot of-
so while I'm handing these out, just to draw the sting a little bit here, this code has been edited and spoken about and met upon for almost a year now. We've met with PD, Harbor Master, fire marshals, who else? Greater Jamesport, and the wildlife, yes. So everyone has had input in this, and I've had, does anyone else need photos? I got everyone? Okay. So, might as well. Okay. So, not about limiting hunting. This used to be 8 pages long. It is now 3 pages plus that 1 page of just definitions that are linked to this particular issue. Okay? Yep. So that's the definitions, and then the stapled portion is the amended code. You want that? Here.
Thank you.
How can you become the owner of one of these that are unowned?
Exactly. Why we're here.
Oh, okay.
So, this is pretty much about when structures are left in the water beyond the season without identification, without maintenance, and without any accountability. You can have a duck blind in these waters. You just need to have it registered in some way, and this is the least restrictive way, and it goes with best practices, meaning that neighboring towns that had the similar issue, they're actually a little bit more restrictive. I've made this the least restrictive, and our goal is really just so that these abandoned blinds, as you can see here, so that the town would finally have the authority to clean them up.
It's just light.
Yes. So it's kind of like anything else in the town. If there's a blighted property, we do an action on it, we remove it. So that's really just to give us the ability to get rid of the ones that are quite honestly dangerous. There are people that are in the navigable waters that, are bumping into these. It can get in the way of first responders, and we don't know what these are made out of. We would like to think that these are made out of untreated wood, but anything that these are made out of may be leaching out into the water. Some of them are actually chained to some of the structures in the land. So it's, when they're not maintained and they're not accounted for, pretty terrible things can happen.
Yeah, hazardous.
So it's a real world condition in Riverhead. It's not a hypothetical issue. It's documented. So these are just a few that have remained in place for years. So that's really, if you go through the code, it is very simply written just to regulate these. We did have one final meeting yesterday before this where I made a couple of changes. The only change I really made was to expand the time so that it does not conflict with any DEC, any hunting
calendar, requirements. So you can put your blind in as late as the DEC allows you to, and you can take it out, before the season, pretty much as the season ends.
Are you required to take it out?
Yes. So this is just a reflection of that. So why are we writing, our own code on it? That's probably what the next question is going to be. We're doing that because now we have a clean date, so that if these remain, now we finally have a way to remove them. Someone who's an avid hunter that is, doing the right thing, they're going to want to take their blind out so that it doesn't, get destroyed on off season. So other towns, Liam from the fire marshal's office, he has a couple of blinds in Southampton. He educated me on this. Very simply, you just get a number, and you could put it on a wooden placard, put the number in. The harbor master, who we met with about 2 weeks ago to figure out how logistically we could do this without, disrupting the hunting season, they would just have a list of, who has what permit, what number. As long as it matches up and they see it on there, they leave it alone. And then once it's, past that May 1st date or whenever the season ends, that's when we notify those that have the number and say, hey, you're on notice, please take it out, it's past season. And then if we don't get a respond by a certain amount of time, then we would be able to remove them. So that'll just take me to my last point, which is the cost. So obviously, whenever the town cleans up something or removes something, the cost goes to the town. So the only way that we can really recoup that is to either charge a small fee to get a placard. I left that blank now because it is entirely up to the board if you want to charge for that or not. If not, what we would do is, if we're ever able to track down someone who does not remove it in time, then they'll get a court summons, same thing as someone who doesn't maintain their property. We would collect the amount of money for that, and then that would kind of fund the removal going forward. So that's everything I have. Anyone has any questions?
Cost of the placard up front by the owner.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I
left
didn't
it
hear
blank.
that.
We had it at $15, so that I would just, if the board wants to collectively come to a number, or we can meet in the middle on something.
We allowed to require them to put a deposit in at the
Okay.
beginning of this. I'm asking if we're allowed to do that, and then, to hold that,
Okay.
while it's, I just.
I
wasn't
haven't
sure.
seen that happen before, but I'll look into it, and if that's a possibility, that, I don't see an issue in that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's done.
I was just going to say, have them pay it up front. Why have us chase them down later on?
Got
At
it.
the expense to our
Okay.
office.
Yeah, so we can discuss that further, and then I'll fill in that section. But everything else is really just so that we have something on the books, so that we can finally take action on these.
Good job. You've worked really hard on this.
Yeah, I know. There were many really valid opinions. Honestly, I learned a lot doing this, but I think everyone's moderately happy with this at this point.
So with the placard, so a few things. So if there is one on the water that does not have a placard on it, are we immediately removing it?
So we discussed that 2 weeks ago and yesterday. The best we could do is we could put kind of similar to like an NOV sign on it, and then if another hunter sees it and they know who owns it, they can notify them. That NOV sign would be put on for, 30 days, and then if nobody, calls the town, then we'd be able to remove it.
And with these, in terms of when you determine an owner, so most of the time, there are multiple hunters in one of these at any given time, and they may change it, so I know of our friends that have used some in the past in Southampton. Does the owner have to be present, and whoever the permit is issued, or as long as there's a permit, it doesn't matter who is sitting in the duck blind?
As far as I know, we want it to be a Riverhead resident, and the placard can be on there. To tie it to an individual person, I don't think that's something that that would have to be tied to a hunting license, I guess, if we want to link the hunting license to the blind.
So what kind of yearly fee are you thinking for this?
We originally started at 20-something. A few weeks ago, we landed at 15, and then I left it blank because I don't know what's...
$15 for the whole year to have one in?
For the season, yeah. It can be lower, it can be higher, whatever everyone thinks
I think
is...
that's an extremely low number, and how will we ever bank any money to physically remove them? I think most of these are gonna be shared by multiple people throughout the whole season, so I don't see why it would be under $100 or something for a season for multiple hunters to utilize.
Okay, I do know, I
Thoughts, anybody
believe,
else? That just-
Sounds like a price from the 1970s.
Yeah, that's why I ask about if there was a nominal fee and then if there was a deposit held of like how much it
In other
costs us
words,
to remove it.
we're gonna, let's say now we have a marine unit that's gotta go out and pull this and tow it in and destroy it and break it up.
right,
That's a significant cost to doing that, and we're gonna have to do it, so otherwise people are gonna say they don't enforce the laws, so don't worry about it anyway. So we're gonna have to lead by example, and so I don't see us ever banking any money at $15 a piece to be able to handle this, so I think there needs to be more significant
okay.
funding, and I think
Yeah.
we're way off the mark on the
Yeah.
dollar amount for it.
I did want to land in the middle because we don't want to scare people away from not, just deciding to not get the permit and having this go on in perpetuity. So that's something I would.
What you got from January, so you got all of February, March. People, you're talking like 3 months that they're out there utilizing it, multiple hunters. What is that coming out for per person to go and share? You're a hunter. What do you normally think?
I'm not a big waterfowl hunter, but I know, like you said, there's that fine line. That's why I ask about the deposit holding, like figuring out what our cost is. But I don't mind just charging them for it either, if that's we have to make it equitable for our staff and what's going on. So
Okay.
probably need to figure out what that cost
Yeah.
is. But people that want to do this, like Councilman Rothwell said, if they're allowed to bring in friends, they'll definitely do that. And if if they have to have a letter of permission that says I'm allowed to be in this blind, because what we also don't want is a blind sitting there and somebody just rolling up and using it,
Right.
kind of doing it. So I think there's some things to contemplate there. I think the price tag would probably need to figure out what.
Yeah, I believe we started at that $20 or $30 figures because we were looking at what neighboring towns were charging.
I think to fire up the boat with marine fuel right now, it's probably. All you boaters, right? I'm not a boater, so I don't know those
Do you
things.
have $100, Bob, that you can get me one of these?
Of course. Order two. In case.
All right, permit number 1, permit number 2, got it.
You go out for a day, and if a hunter's gonna pay
You know what a
$15
hunter
a
I
day,
am.
but here you're talking about 3 months or something of that, you know what I mean, to utilize it. And I do think there needs to be more than just like kind of the supervisor perhaps alleviate to, like, not just who's the owner of it, but a list of contact people that should potentially be in it at any given time. So, it's a shared use by the following. Just, so like you're saying, do you have just people sitting in there going, he said I could use it.
So you want a more robust list, not just the
Yeah.
numbers, you want the names associated.
Who's gonna be
Okay.
utilizing
For
it?
our-
At least maybe one individual that may be bringing in different friends, so that I don't need to know that a list of 40 people that are using it, but maybe if there's always one person in it each time, there's a list of 5 that are shared, but I think that's one.
And we're gonna incur costs because most of these have no owner. They've been there for so long.
Yes, it's very difficult to
yeah.
track them down.
So we're gonna have to, so if someone sees this right now online and it's yours, go get it.
Well, this one we do know who it
Yeah, but I'm
is.
saying any of these, just go get them and take them out.
Yes, please, that would be
The
great.
good news is now, when it's registered, it's all trackable. So that if somebody does abandon theirs, we know who it is, they've registered with the clerk, and we can charge them for removing it. Right?
Correct.
That's why maybe we do a much higher fee now to pay for the cost of removing these that we have
No,
no
we're gonna
owner.
charge, I see what you're saying, excuse me.
That's what I was saying, maybe that cost could be
They
really
have the
significant.
burden.
Well, my concern is just I don't want to punish the people that are coming in and
Doing
getting
the
the
right
permit
thing.
and trying to do the right thing. So I'll try to strike that balance there and come up with a better figure, and then I'll run it past everyone.
What's a hunting license today per person?
If you just do a basic waterfowl, you have to do a federal stamp and then beyond that, but it's about 85 for what I purchase every year. And then, so that's for like deer.
And that's for one person. This is gonna be shared by
Yes,
many
deer
hunters.
But
And look
check
at
the
attorney
clerk's office.
registration fees, right? Attorney
yeah.
registration fees we have to pay. We basically have to pay for insuring against other people's malpractice. So that's what I mean about,
That's a good point. Yeah.
I get the very basic license. Just there's much higher too, so
Okay.
it goes way up. So
and that's $450.
Yeah,
Why,
something like that, yeah. Okay, so it sounds like we're good with the guts of it. It's really just that, that fee up front that I will, work with. I'll send some options over, I'll try and figure out
I think Dave would work with you in my office.
Yep.
Seems very good.
Yes.
And Liam, they're both really.
Yeah, they were both really good, very knowledgeable.
Is
Yes.
your office going to provide a list of available locations? Like that they're not just now, it's not a free-for-all.
So
that
we
have
did-
them lining up next to each
We
other?
discussed that because of the 500 foot requirement through the DEC, but we did discuss that waterfowl, different from a deer stand, you kind of want to move your blind around based on the
Tide and the
tide
wind.
and the wind. Yeah, so we didn't. We're trying to work with how to kind of. I don't think there would be set locations because people who get their permits are going to want to have the ability to go where they want to go.
Might be able to give them a zone, like we might be able to say like in a zone here, in a zone here.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
I mean, that way
yeah,
they can go
I'll
back and
talk
forth,
to-
and then, I mean, that, you know,
Yeah,
they-
Harbor Master would know
Right.
better about that, but I didn't want to tie them to one spot
Right,
because
I-
if something's better another day.
right, and somebody's not there, it makes sense, when
yeah.
you said so. Definitely understand. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so I will work on those couple of things. I'll send it around and then I'll ask for permission to put on for public hearing once those items are tightened up.
So we have, Greg Bergman's
Made your phone ring for that quacking that you have.
returning to us.
You stayed up here, sorry.
It's all right. Well, just so, somebody's ears must have been ringing, because I just went back to my office. Email just came through. Island Water Park, I got a letter from the DEC. The DEC has issued their final reclamation for the site. So, yeah, maybe, so, yeah, so they're free and clear, so that would have changed the discussion a little bit, so essentially DEC's regulatory restrictions over the site are now done.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Greg, for that update.
Good timing.
Our next, yeah, and if the DEC's watching, hi. Our next is resolutions with Deputy Supervisor Higgins. I don't think they really watch it.
Everybody's ready?
No,
Okay,
give me 1 second, please. Thank you.
ready to go?
Yeah.
Resolution number 1, awards bid for Meeting House Creek Road bulkhead renovation.
I have a question about this. So, do we have a timeline for
When they're gonna actually start.
when they're going to start, when we can hope that it's going to be completed?
I had a conversation, I guess about a week or so ago with the engineer, Ken Testa, and he indicated very soon. So, as in imminently. And I think visually, if you were to go down there, there's evidence of some movement, almost as if they're maybe prepping the area in anticipation. So I think it's a matter of weeks. We can confirm with the engineer, but that's what I was told, that's what he indicated a week or so ago when I spoke to him.
Okay.
So the idea here is to award the bid, and then the next resolution is they're moving the money to make it available for them to start. So that's resolution number 2, capital project number 12607, Meeting House Creek Road bulkhead renovation, budget transfer from community benefit funds. Okay. Resolution number 3, approve sewer district request for change order number 2 related to the contract P Plumbing Construction RDSD 2202 project. Number 4, approve sewer district request for change order number 2 related to the contract E Electrical Construction RDSD 2202 project. Number 5, approve sewer district request for change order number 3 related to the contract G General Construction RDSD 2202 project. Resolution number 6, ratifies acceptance of donation of portable toilet and maintenance to sewer district. Number 7, waives fee for town beach parking permits issued to veterans and volunteer fire and ambulance members residing within the town of Riverhead. Number 8, authorizes sewer district employee to attend seminar. Number 9, authorizes town justice to attend New York State Office of Justice Court Support Town and Village Judicial Continuing Education Program. Number 10, appoints an administrative assistant. Number 11, appoints traffic control specialist to the police department. 12, approves salary adjustment for detention attendant. Number 13, appoints detention attendants to the police department. So just a quick note on this, in the now therefore be it resolved on resolution number 13, we just have to change that amount to reflect the prior resolution, assuming, yes, assuming that gets approved. Number 14, authorizes rate increase for justice court interpreters pursuant to administrative order. Number 15, reappoints a temporary office assistant to the tax receiver's office. Number 16, changes the status of part-time traffic control specialists and/or part-time traffic control officers. They'll change to seasonal to help out during the high season. Number 17, changes the status of part-time police officers, same thing. 18, appoints Miles Caracciolo to the Agricultural Advisory Committee. Number 19, reappoints Michael Reichel to the Conservation Advisory Council. Number 20, appoints Marjorie Acevedo to the Veterans Advisory Committee. 21, reappoints Lisa Meyer-Fertal to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 22, reappoints Tom Levati to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 23, reappoints Joy O'Shaughnessy to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 24, reappoints Megan Bamberger to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 25, reappoints Sue Gannon to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 26, appoints Julie Barnett to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 27, appoints Liz O'Shaughnessy to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 28, appoints Matthew Kuriloff to the Disability Advisory Committee. 29, appoints Michelle Cuomo to the Disability Advisory Committee. Number 30, establishes committee membership terms for the East Creek Advisory Committee. Number 31, authorizes submission of letter of intent and execution of contract by the supervisor for operation and maintenance grant program to the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC. This is for the
Discuss that a little bit.
This is for the pump-out boat. We do it every year. And
Is it the operator of the pump out boat, or is it just?
I think it covers the cost, but perhaps Dawn can expand on it further if she's available. We do this every year, and I think it's always for the prior year. Yes. It's always a year behind. So this is annual funding for our pump-out boat. Joe handles this predominantly and does a very great job at it. We get a certain amount of funding for repairs and for, and actually sometimes a boat. And so in this case, we have up to $14,000 for reimbursement for the 2026 season. So that's upcoming, and then next. See about this year. I just want to double check with him. I'll double check with him if this is 26 season, but I think that's correct.
Says in the.
He has it for 20, it says.
I think it's correct. That's what we're eligible for, $14,000 for reimbursements, fuel, and a lot of other costs associated, repairs associated with the pump out boats.
So, as I'm just leading up to, I think some of us have been made aware that we also, presumably there should be a resolution soon appointing a pump out operator. And I think that, that's the position that is struggling financially to have somebody maintain that, and I'm afraid that we may have a boat without an operator. So,
Yeah.
we'll look for that resolution, but I think we do have to look over the finances to
Right,
make sure.
increase the salary. It hasn't been increased in many, many years.
Very long.
And we don't want to lose the person.
I did look into that with Jeanette the other night, and I also spoke to the chief, because that comes out of the chief's budget. So, and I'll fill you in on that.
Yeah, this is a PD budget item.
Okay.
Here comes Joe right now. Look at that.
There you go.
You can both come up. Oh, doesn't matter.
So it's a reimbursement program, so we have to say that we want to apply now. We're gonna operate this program anyway, so it's up to $5,000 per boat. We have 2 vessels, and up to $2,000, we have 2 on-land facilities. One is downtown, so we don't usually get most of that money back. We did get for the 2 stationary facilities. So last year we had some parts that we bought, so we did get, I think last year was about 13,000. So we almost always get $5,000 for each boat, and then whatever engineering spends for those on-land parts. And I know that the chief, like 2 years ago, was looking to replace one of those boats, which is not like in the best shape. So that's, if we were interested in that, it's up to $60,000. I think the cost of the boat is like 100 plus. So we could always apply for that separately.
Joe, it's 2,000 for each stationary?
facility,
It is,
yeah.
okay. All right, yep.
But that $4,000, we don't typically, it's of course always based on what we spend. So those 2 stationary facilities don't usually cost us that much money. The reason that we get back the full $5,000 for each of the boats is because that also covers the person's salary.
So, okay.
It does? I thought that was separate with the PD. Is the salary with us or with the PD? For the pump-out operator?
Right, so that's,
Is it town expense?
Is that
Or
not,
is it
that's,
PD
is that not
expense?
part of
it's
it?
a town expense, but that, part of that guy's salary, 75% of it, up to $10,000 total, we can get reimbursed for. And we always have for the last 20-something years.
Is it true, Joe, that there's only one person? That
Yes.
So we have 2 boats and only one person?
Right, so we have a backup boat. I know years ago we used to have more than one person, and I think that we've just had a hard time attracting personnel, so we've been fortunate to have, I think his name is Richard Quick, I think, and he's been with us
I don't know if that's going to
forever.
be the case.
But if we had a second person and the town wanted to operate 2 boats at the same time, I think in years past, we would operate 1 boat Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends, or, we could have a second boat out there, but in the most recent years, that hasn't happened. Okay.
Joe, in the spirit of good humor, you're talking about Marine grants and you got your shark shirt on today, so you tend to immerse yourself in your work.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Great job, Joe, thanks.
So I just wanted to adjust the salary. So we did increase the salary for the pump-out boat operator. I don't remember how long ago, but it was fairly,
2024.
yeah, it was recent. So it's up to the chief if he would want to propose another raise again. I
think
assume
we
at
need-
budget season, but
Yeah, I think we need, because we're in fear of potentially losing that individual, and not having one is going to be a bigger problem. So I think we need to kind of take a look at it.
okay. And that grant is for 2026. It's to apply for 26. We received the 25 grant already, so.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Resolution 32 authorizes the Community Development Department to apply for New York Places Learning Activity and Youth Socialization New York Plays Grant.
Devin, is this the Science Center, Place for Learning?
No, this is for the playground downtown.
Okay, when I saw Places for Learning, I know that's their title.
Yeah, there is a match component of this, 20%. And Dawn can come back up. We did speak about this, and she's going to explain the mechanics of it.
This is the New York Plays grant application that we're working on.
there's a 20% match, but it's all matched with other grant funding, so there's no town dollars coming out of this for the match. And everything we matched, we're allowed to match with. The total project cost $3.92 million, and the match is $784,000.
Thank you very, very much. Outstanding.
Just to back into the application, the max application is 2.5 million, so we'll be applying for something probably a little shy of that. We don't usually like to, but we're waiting for some numbers from our consultant still.
Thank you.
Don't go far, we got another question coming up.
Okay.
Not
Wait
yet,
here.
go ahead.
Next one? What's on next? Okay.
It's the senior center program.
Is that you?
No, 33 is not
No.
here.
No. Okay, I was like, that's not me. 33, ratifies the authorization for the Senior Citizen Program Director to execute a memorandum of understanding with the New York State Commodity Supplemental Food Program for 2026. Number 34, authorizes extension of agreement with Urban Design Associates. Okay.
Give us a little update.
So this was budgeted, this is a contract that we had for $108,000, which is being paid for by the Jumpstart or JumpSmart, whichever the county, I always get them confused. The grant, we have $7,500 left on that funding, but the contract is run out, so we have to extend the contract to be able to get, the work's not done yet, and so we have to extend the contract to cover the balance of the work, so we're just, pulling out that contract date.
Protecting the money.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Number 35, ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute stipulation with an employee. Number 36, authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Suffolk County Office for the Aging 2026 Home Maintenance and Repair Program. Number 37, authorizes the town supervisor to enter into an agreement with Bryce or LP for third-party fire and life safety compliance services. This is at no cost to the town. It's a third-party system that fire marshals have indicated is going to help exponentially with the required inspections of the various components of the commercial properties in town.
Yeah, they've spoke to us about it. They spoke to us about it. They monitor it. They maintain it. It's all of the different suppression systems throughout our town, all of the different, systems that they have to cover. And this helps them keep our man hours down. And yep.
Yeah, the fire marshals are apparently pleased to be moving forward with this. We did get word this morning from the purchasing office that they may have some questions on it. So assuming that they don't have any wild objections, then this moves forward, I guess, as the fire marshals have requested. Number 38, ratifies authorization for supervisor to sign a professional services agreement with Brand Builders Media, LLC.
I have a question on that. I know, Denise, I know that the first year is $300-something. What I didn't realize is that it's $120 a year, every year thereafter, is what I was told. And I'm concerned about that because, again, this is a for-profit company that is asking us to pay them to advertise on our website. So I don't understand why in the second year we're continuing to pay for something we already paid in the first year, which is a link to our website.
It's a year-to-year thing. It's that, all I'm saying is for this first year, it's that. I can have Joe Rutt come in and talk about the money that's saved in the amount of garbage that is not collected and that we don't pay for. I'm just saying that
That's not my point.
That's mine. That justifies.
Okay, but I don't understand why we're paying for the same service in the second year. They're asking us to pay to be on our website, and if we're allowing them to do that, right? But in the second year, they're asking us to continue to pay for them to be on our website, and that's where I just need some clarity in that, if you could find out, okay? I appreciate it, thank you.
Resolution 39 amends Resolution 2023-834, approving 2026 special event application fee schedule. Number 40, approves Chapter 255 application for Jamesport Fire Department Sound to Bay 5K and 10K. Number 41, grants special permit approval for the special permit application entitled Hampton Jitney Battery Energy Storage System, 253 Edwards Avenue, Calverton, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-117-1-8.6. And we do have planner Heather Trojanowski in the room if the board has any specific technical questions on this resolution.
One question about it. When we had them in here and we asked him about whether or not they are putting energy back into the grid, their response was no, that they just intended to utilize it for their buses. But I did take some time to look over it, but they are in fact selling it back into the grid, aren't they?
So they said that there was residual energy. I don't know if they necessarily sell it back into the grid, but they're not proposing a direct line like some of the larger energy storage systems are, where they go directly into the LIPA grid.
So why do it at all?
I mean, so the whole purpose was that they have their, the electric bus fleet that's gonna be coming in, and then also all of the building costs associated with energy, so it's to also lessen the impact to the grid, is what they said.
So, Councilman Rothwell, it's similar to like having solar on your house, you get a power purchasing agreement with LIPA, so you're under contract. So this facility is essentially covered in solar. So they're taking the solar from their building and putting it into the batteries during the day. There's always gonna be a little left over, just like a solar customer. It goes back to the grid and you get an energy credit to use at a later time, maybe when you're not producing as much. That's not an atypical thing.
Yeah, they pull it back though when they need it, if they're low as well, can they buy it back?
Yeah, goes back and forth.
Is
And
it
you get a credit on your account essentially. I know because I have solar in my house.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention, they already have an existing solar array on the building, so it's all supposed to be tied in together. So I mean, they're not directly selling it back, again, like the larger scale battery energy storage systems where they take it during the low peak hours and then sell it back during high peak hours. It's primarily for an accessory use for the Hampton Jitney facility, but there is residual energy because, you know, that's just how energy flows.
Thank you.
Okay, Resolution 42, grant special permit, preliminary and final site plan approval for the site plan and special permit applications entitled 221 Scott Avenue, Energy Storage System, 221 Scott Avenue, Calverton, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-135.2-1-12. And similarly, we have planner Matt Charters available if the board has specific questions on that application.
I still don't understand how they're doing it so far away from a connection point.
There's a connection point right there in the right of way. There's a transmission line in the ground.
There is, they have it there.
It's right there. It's actually the closest spot to one of the closest that we have in the town. And just on this one, we do have a request from the applicant for a modification to one of our conditions. So if the board's not familiar, you do have the ability to waive the landscaping requirement due to visibility. So the applicant has made that request, actually made it last July. If you remember where the site is, it's 221 Scott Avenue, so it's smack in the middle of EPCAL. The battery energy storage facility is not visible from any right-of-way. If you recall, when we did the Calverton Satellite Earth Station, which is on the next property to the south, we waived their landscaping requirement. You can't really see it. They'll still have a security fence around it. I don't really think it's like a big deal. I don't have a lot of heartburn about waiving it.
It's not a big deal for me. It's an industrial area, and
in the context of everything else that's there, you won't even know it's.
Plus, if there ever was a fire, I don't want anything, that can catch fire around it.
What about a trade-off? Make them do something else nice downtown.
So on page 9 of this resolution, the condition, it's 7A Roman numeral 2, which is revised site plan to demonstrate landscaping requirement as set forth in 301-283.31B7. So that will come out, and then I will put a finding in similar to what we did on the Calverton Satellite Earth Station.
Thank you.
Good.
If you have any other questions, I am here. Thank you.
Okay, resolution number 43, town board determination finding esthetician's office use similar to professional office. Number 44. 4, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice setting a public hearing for the condemnation of a parcel for general municipal purposes located at 111 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-129-1-11. A public hearing will take place on May 20th at 6 p.m. Resolution 45 ratifies the authorization of the town clerk to publish and post notice of public hearing relating to the proposed increase and improvement of the Riverhead Sewer District facilities. A public hearing will take place on May 5th at 2 p.m. Number 46 authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice of public hearing to amend Town Code Chapter 301, Attachment 3 of the Riverhead Town Code, entitled Commercial Districts of Dimensional Regulations. Public hearing scheduled for May 5th at 2 p.m. Number 47 authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider local law to amend Chapter 293 of the Riverhead Town Code titled Waterways and Water-Related Activities, Article 9, Shellfish and Finfish. Public hearing to take place May 20th at 6:10 p.m. And the town clerk is not available at the moment, but I understand he was in favor of this. I don't know if anybody else had a chance to speak with the clerk about that, but proposing to go from no fee to $10 for the permit.
Yep.
And then also, instead of having the 3 options for the temporary permits, just 1 option for 30 days.
Yeah, I've discussed that with them.
Great. Resolution 48 ratifies award of bid for twin Honda outboard motors or equal, plus additional related items and installation for the Riverhead Police Department. Number 49 extends bid for dry hydrated lime. Number 50 extends bid for electric motor repair and replacement, including emergencies. Resolution 51 pays the bills.
Thank you, Devin. So with that, we're going to take a motion, a first and second, to enter to executive session to discuss the following: personnel matters, matters surrounding possible hiring of an intern with Howard, matters surrounding possible change in status of employees with HALPIN and DIPAOLA, and contractual matters surrounding possible contractual agreements, services related to the coordination and planning of Allotment 25, events in 2026, and litigation matters surrounding update on litigation between the town of Riverhead and CAT 555 with Howard. And so if I can have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Oh, second, I'm sorry. All in favor? Have a great